Every comedian has an origin story, and all of them have been asked about it. When did you know you were funny? How did you know you were funny? What made you want to get into stand up? On and on and on. And we all have an idea of when we think it happened. Some comedians are like, well, I was sitting with my dad and he was watching a stand up on The Tonight Show and laughing. And I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. Or, I was making my mom laugh and I was like, oh, that's what I want to do. Or I was disrupting the class and the teacher said, hey, after every class, you have 5 minutes to make the class laugh. But my story, I think, goes even further, and it's based all on a medical theory that I heard a long time ago. First off, I want you to know that I believe that so many factors go into making a person who they are. And if one of those factors is just a little bit different, they might not end up being the person that they are now. I believe that even the factor of your name shapes the type of person that you are. Now, I'm not the first person to think of this theory, and I don't want to get too off topic, so we'll leave that topic for another time. Just remind me if you want to hear about my name theory. And honestly, I can't even claim it's my name theory because other people have tested it and have written down their results. But just like theories are, you kind of get an answer, but can you really get the full answer without actually having both timelines of that person to see what changed and what based off of the name? So anyway, let's get to where I think my comedy origin started. So most of my humor, you've probably heard me talk about how I'm not that big of a guy, I've got a young face, and all those kind of factor into it because, I chose making people laugh as a defense mechanism. That was my way of getting out of arguments and making sure that I didn't get into fights because I could make people laugh and they weren't so hurt by the things I said. I could make fun of myself, so it kind of diffused a lot of weird situations towards me, right? But that's still not where I think it happened. So when I was 3 years old, I was at my grandparents' house, and at some point during this visit, I walked out onto the street in front of the house, and their neighbors, they had a kid. Now I'm not sure how old the kid was. I don't know the kid's name. Of course, this happened a long time ago, and whoever would have that information is long gone now, right? But maybe this kid didn't like me. Maybe this kid was just gonna grow up to be a bully. Maybe this kid was just testing his own evil ways. He picked up a rock and he threw it right at my head. And it hit me, and you can't tell anymore because it's been so long, but there's a little scar. So I had that scar forever. So that was the proof that this happened. A couple of years ago, somebody had told me that there are medical experiments where it has shown that head trauma can change a person's personality. And sometimes people, after suffering head trauma, all of a sudden become funnier. Or they look at life differently, maybe with a little bit more humor. And some people look at life differently completely. We've all read that weird fact meme where it's like this guy got knocked out and then all of a sudden he could do every math equation and he could see the color and numbers. Well, I guess I could see the punchline in life after being hit in the head with a rock. Now, you may be thinking, Nick, that's kind of a stretch and mostly a coincidence. Well, that's what theories are. They're all a stretch, especially when you just have one example. But as I have been in this career, I've talked to a lot of comedians about their lives. That's what happens when we're on long road trips or in green rooms. And every so often, there will be a comedian that tells me about a moment in his childhood where they hit their head on something or something hit their head. And ever since learning that theory, I was like, I wonder if that was the moment that their brain just fritzed out and they started to see things funnier. And the truth is that we will actually never be able to find this out because in order to conduct this experiment, you would have to hit a child with something in their head just enough to where it makes them funny and not a psychopath, because there's that other trauma where all of a sudden they're serial killers. So there's a fine line between, hey, I'm going to be a comedian or I'm going to be a serial killer. So let's not go testing that theory. But, just throwing it out there that I think that might be part of my comedy origin, is that kid decided to throw a rock at my head and it knocked something in my brain to make me be like, I that's kind of hilarious. So there you guys go. There you guys go. There you go, guys. Look at that. That's the head trauma messing with me. If you're a comic, do you remember anything about that happening? If you're the funny person, do you remember anything like that happening? Let me know. I don't know, or don't let me know. It really doesn't matter. I'm just putting this out there. Bye.